As you can see, and I'm sure what you've heard of, all these winter storms that are coming to the United States. And even if you look at other countries and people who have YouTube channels from other countries, they're seeing weather that looks really, really strange. It's really cold, and it's not supposed to be cold like it is. Like some places, they have a freezing frost, which is very, very unusual. And you know, a lot of places are dipping down into the negatives. That's what's coming. It's like winter storms are coming everywhere out of the blue. And as you can see at this map, it's like these clouds, they're covering three-fourths of the planet. They are, you are. And if you watch the ISS as it goes over certain areas, the cloud cover is so thick. You can't see the land below it. And if you look at the weather forecast, it does look like something like the day after tomorrow, you all. It does. It's the kind of, who can prepare for something like that? Really, who can? Because if you haven't got yourself prepared, and when these storms come, because they're coming, they're dumping snow all over the place, and some people are going to get some like tornadic activity. It's like unpredictable weather. You cannot rely on the weather channel. You can't, to give you reliable weather, because they don't know either, because everything is unpredictable at this point. We can't predict the weather. We can't. We can see storms coming. We can kind of say, you know, what's going to happen, but we don't know the full outcome. We don't know what kind of damage that it's going to really cause when it's all said and done. Are you prepared? Are you prepared for this cold weather? And what's really bothering me, it's really kind of troublesome. When I think about it, I'm going to tell you what's bothering me, because I'm seeing very conflicting stories, very conflicting data from major talking pieces in the world. I am very conflicting. It's like NASA themselves said that we were entering. What did they say we were entering? They said that we are, this is like, oh my gosh. Oh, Gina, honey, you closed one out. The sun, NASA says the sun is set to change to a solar minimum is on the way. That's what NASA predicted. And it was expected to be coming here. They predicted it, you all. They said it was coming. Okay, they said it was coming. And what was it? Noah confirmed a full-blown grand solar minimum coming our way. This is what gets me. They said that is coming. So how can that be coming also? And we do got climate change. We got the earth warming, and then we got this grand solar, full-blown solar, grand solar minimum, Noah said, is coming. That means the sun is cooling. There's something not right with this picture, you all. We've already had loss of crops. We have, because of the weather, because it's so unpredictable. Drying up and all of this kind of stuff. And now, with all this, you can see, all you have to do is look at the weather. Look at this, just look at this map. Let's look at this, you all. Let me close out this thing. Look at this. Look at this Google Earth. You got these storms. Look at these storms. They're all around you all. All this clouds. Right here, it's like everywhere you look, there's storm clouds with their twirly twirls. We got one right there. We got one right there. You got one right here. Look at that. You got one right here. We got one over here. It's like we're getting pummeled. And if you're in Hawaii, I'm sure you got some change of weather too. And if you're over here in this area, look, you got weather too. Now, granted, we know it's wintertime, But I don't know about this. I really don't know about this. Africa looks kind of fine, but I don't know what's going on in Africa. They could be having strange weather themselves also. Let's look over here. See, look over here what's happening down here. That looks like half the map is missing, you all. Something's going on. Something's going on. We have all of this happening. Look at that. And it's cold. It's going to get so cold. And I don't think that people are prepared for what is coming. I really don't think people are prepared for what is coming, because something's coming, and it's coming fast is what's happening. It's coming really fast. And I think I saw where, what's this? What was that state? They were declaring an emergency ahead of the snowstorm for the homeless people. Is what they were prepared. They were like, y'all listen to this. Let me look over here. I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I am seeing conflicting information. I really am. How can NASA, how can NOAA, how can NASA, how can NOAA confirm a full-blown in 2020 grand solar minimum? NOAA is predicting a full-blown grand solar minimum with the potential to hold sunspots at zeros. Oopsie. Look at that. So the signs are clearer than ever. The sun is heading to a new norm, a new solar minimum cycle now. Look at that. Despite loud claims in recent made whatever, the CO2 is somehow driving the Earth's climate. Its history and science demonstrate that the largest and most influential driver of planetary climate is actually the sun. And NASA data shows clearly that the sunspot counts and the solar flares are dropping, which is clear indicator that solar activity is receding slightly, which means that the Earth's climate will change, only it won't be getting warmer. One known indicator of solar activity is the presence of sunspots, whether the high number of solar activity is stronger. And when the sunspots are few, then more likely we are going to see less solar intensity. The last peak of sunspot activity was in 2014, and now we reached it to a new low in 2020. When will our sun, look at that. So solar minimum does not mean that we'll no longer have regular heat waves and warm weather. It means that our solar activity will change, and it could translate into lower overall temperatures for the Earth during the duration, which could last beyond 2030. This is not breaking news, as NASA announced that this trend, they announced this trend many times before, albeit quietly, but as one would expect in the current political epoch, any talk of global cooling is not likely to generate headlines. In fact, in 2020 saw Europe having one of its coldest summers on record. Indeed, winter is coming, you all. Their press release surely won't admit it, but NOAA's predicted sunspot number and radio flux data appears to show a full-blown grand solar minimum running from the late 2020s to at least 2040s. NOAA, whose solar forecasts generally come out higher than NASA's, says it won't be until mid-2025 before we see the peak of the next solar cycle 25, with the maximum topping out at 114.6 sunspots. NOAA predicts solar cycle 25 will max out at, you can see, in July of 2025. And NASA's prediction is around 30 to 40, and NOAA said it would be 114 to 6. NOAA forecast then begins to plot the descent into the minimum of cycle 25 from mid-2025 to 2031 or thereabouts. And while as this paints solar cycle 25 at another historically weak cycle, one similar to 24, which will continue the cooling trend, it isn't the story here. The story is that NOAA aren't seeing the expected ramp up into the cycle 26 when the sunspot numbers should be climbing back up. It remained low, and NOAA is predicting all but 0 sunspots through 2030. There is no ramp up into 26, nor are there any signs of the start of solar cycle 27. The data runs all the way through 2040 with the final 12 months of a spotless sun. NOAA is predicting a full-blown grand solar minimum. Um, so this is what gets me. The last one you can see, 1645, temperature plummeting and crops and famines, Earth's magnetic sphere, cosmic rays. Look at that, you all. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why NASA said a solar minimum was on the way. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know about all of this stuff. Because why would we see all of this stuff like this? Why would we, you all? Why would they have articles back in 2018, 2020 for this? And our climate is changing big time. Look, solar minimum is coming. Science Mission Directorate, NASA. This is from NASA. The sun is heading towards solar minimum now. The sunspot counts were relatively high in 2014, and now they are sliding toward a low point expected in 2019 and 2020, while intense activities such as sunspots and solar flares subside during solar minimum. That doesn't mean the sun will become dull. Solar activity simply changes the form, you all. So why did NASA... Why are you saying that, NASA? That's what I want to know, you all. And I'm not looking at any comments. Oh no, they're not letting me. I want to make this bigger, but I'm not getting this bigger, you all. Intense activity such as sunspots, solar flares during solar minimum doesn't mean the sun becomes dull. For instance, during solar minimum, we can see the development of long-lived coronal holes where the sun's magnetic field opens up and allows streams of solar particles to escape. And when these holes throughout the solar cycle, but during solar minimum, they can't last for a long time, 6 months or more. And the holes can cause space weather effects near Earth as they hit the Earth's magnetic field. These effects can temporarily disturbance to the Earth's magnetic field, causing geomagnetic storms, auroras, disruptions to communication and navigation system. During a solar minimum, the Earth's upper atmosphere on satellites in low orbit change too. Normally, I'm just reading this. Normally, the Earth's upper atmosphere is heated and puffed up by ultraviolet radiation. Do we see ultraviolet in our skies? But satellites in low orbit create friction drag. Earth during solar minimum, this natural heating mechanism will subside. The Earth's upper atmosphere will cool and to some degree can collapse. It can collapse without a normal amount of drag. Space junk tends to hang around. And galactic cosmic rays are high energy particles. During solar minimum, the sun's magnetic field weakens and provides less shielding from these cosmic rays, and these pose an increased threat to astronauts. Solar minimum brings about many changes to our sun, but less solar activity doesn't make the sun and space environment any less interesting. So, pencil. So this is what gets me. NASA, the directorate said it, you all. What is going on? This is what I'm wondering. What is going on? I'm not even over here on here. Our world is changing. I know that. This weather is totally unpredictable. We've got climate. We've got climate change happening. Hello, Susan B. Honey. You all, something's just not adding up. You're seeing, but you have never seen such a big swath over states. Yeah, you are. There's something. This weather is unpredictable. That's what I want to say. Totally unpredictable. So we've got NASA. Let's see. I opened up many things. Solar minimum has arrived. Look, that's NASA's directed. A grand solar minimum or a normal sun. NASA NOAA scientist explains what a solar minimum is. Are we headed toward another deep solar minimum? Why are they asking all of this, you all? Is what I want to know. Why were all of these headlines out there? And but then what is going on? Can it lead to terrestrial cooling? Look at this, you all. It could bring 50 years of global cooling. There's too much of this. Global warming versus global cooling. The showdown begins. They hope. I think I read that they hope that this global warming will stop. They might cancel each other out, they said. That's what they said. The global warming and the global cooling might cancel each other out. Well, that'd be kind of interesting, you all. It really would be interesting if they had a showdown from it. Look, this is 2018. Hello. Something grand solar maximum, grand solar minimum is coming. The sun may be dimming temporary, but Earth is not going to freeze over. But the resulting cooling put a dent in the global warming trend. A periodic solar event called a grand minimum could overtake the sun perhaps as soon as 2020 and last through 27, resulting in diminished magnetism, infrequent sunspot production, less ultraviolet radiation reaching the Earth, bringing it to a planet span for 50 years. It happened in the 17th century. It's unlikely we'll see a return to extreme cold from centuries ago, they said. So let's see this. Though new decades long dip in solar radiation could slow the global warming somewhat. Well, they do want to slow global warming, so that's great. Go ahead and slow the global warming if you can, really. Though it wouldn't be by much. The researchers' simulations demonstrated, and by the end of the incoming cooling period, temperatures will have bounced back from the temporary cool down. So they could be trying to look. I'm not going to play it. Something about, will Antarctica ever be inhabitable? It's a freezing and hospitable place. Well, this is kind of neat. Average winter temperatures plummet to minus 56 degrees Fahrenheit. And winds reach 200 miles per hour. It's no surprise that aside from a handful of scientists, there are no permanent residents. But considering technological advances and the changing climate, could that ever change? While a select crowd of invasive plant and animal species already are moving to a warming Antarctica, humans aren't on that list yet and likely won't be until the next century. In part because our current climate and terrain do not sustain a range of biodiversity for crops. Another obstacle is Antarctica's remote location. Stephen Chown, a professor of biological science at Monash University in Australia, said the only issue were the weather. The people might stand a chance if there was night. Its a geographic isolation means these facilities are sustained only by importing food and other goods. Antarctica's climate, the distance past, and the near future. The frozen continent might not be equipped for permanent residence right now. Okay, we already read that. Are we still doing it? But was the climate ever hospitable, and will it ever be in the future? Based on the fossil record, it used to have a climate that was suitable for dinosaurs. About 100 million years ago, Antarctica supported vegetation, sustained forests, and a wide range of organisms. To understand what Antarctica's climate might look like in the future, paleoclimatologists look to distant pasts by studying the layers of sediment in the Ross Ice Shelf. A team of researchers found that the West Antarctic ice shelf has collapsed and regrown several times. These climate fluctuations go hand in hand with changes in Earth's atmosphere, such as the rising and falling levels of carbon dioxide. Although these changes historically have happened over hundreds of thousands of years, greenhouse gas emissions are now changing Earth's climate at an unprecedented rate. Melting ice sheets. Aside from the peninsula, most of the continent is an ice sheet, several kilometers thick in places. Climate modeling predicts a large growth in the ice-free area. But according to Chown, at the highest areas where just the mountain peaks stick up, we're unlikely to see anything that changes by 2100. That's that, you all, right there. So remember Admiral Byrd said that it was getting warmer. Remember that video that we put up of Admiral, well, I didn't put up a video, I did a thing. Admiral Byrd, what I wrote on something, and he said it was getting warmer, is what Admiral Byrd said. The North Pole was getting warmer, and the Earth was getting warmer, is what he said. And we would have to face the bitter cold. He said, God forbid, if we ever had to battle, the next battle will be in the, what did he say? It would be in the, at the north, across the whole North Pole. And we need to get prepared for really bitter cold, like cold weather to battle in that type of atmosphere, you all, up there. And I wonder why he said that. Really, I wonder why he did. Yeah. That's right. You have a feeling this will be the last winter. Weather warfare, Dixieland, grand solar flash, an ice age, the air tax. Something's way off, you all. It seems like something is way off, and I don't like seeing these predictions. Why this won't cause a little ice age. So what if it just cools a little bit? Wet, cold summers. Let's see. Wet, cold summers. Let's see this. They suggest the sun is on its way or is at a grand solar minimum. Some have warned this could cause a mini ice age. According to NASA, global warming is still greater. Okay, NASA is admitting that global warming is still greater than a possible cooling from a grand solar minimum. So NASA is saying that a possible cooling from a grand solar minimum, it's possible. NASA is saying that, but they're saying global warming is greater. That's what they said. But they're not throwing out the possibility of the grand solar minimum being greater than the global warming. It could happen. Some scientists suggest that, you all. It could last 11 years. So let's see. NOAA, April. Oh, let's look at this. So the prediction estimated the next solar minimum between cycles 24 and 25 would occur around April of 2020, plus or minus 6 months. This means the sun is either already at a solar minimum or is about to enter it. Because the cycle was particularly quiet and has speculated it could be a grand solar minimum, they may last significantly longer. The last time it happened was 1650 to 1715. Let's hope that, look, NASA Global Climate Change blog pointed to a specific factor that could prevent a little ice age occurring today: climate change. The warming caused by the greenhouse gas emissions from the human burning of fossil fuels is 6 times greater than the possible decade-long cooling from a prolonged grand solar minimum. Even if a grand solar minimum, according to NASA, were to last a century, global temperatures would continue to warm. The blog further explained the sun's output is not the only thing that can affect the global temperatures. Today, the most primary cause comes from human-induced greenhouse. To be clear, solar minimums are a normal part of the sun cycle, although they can affect various mechanisms on Earth and in space. Even an extended solar minimum will likely not have a marked effect on global temperatures. There's so much stuff on here, you on. It's like, I would not want to see the day after tomorrow. I really wouldn't at all. Look, a grand solar minimum would barely make a dent. The changing jet stream and global cooling. All of this stuff. Look at these weathers right here. And then we got this day after tomorrow. That was one scary movie. I like watching it, but I didn't like everything freezing. That would be a rapid freeze. It really would be a rapid freeze because they didn't have time for anything, you all. They didn't at all, and you know they didn't. Let's let Mother Earth balance this out, you all. I don't want to see a day after tomorrow. I really don't. And I don't want to see a Earth burning up. I'd like to have a in between. I would really like for them to balance each other out if it could. Really, I do. I would hope that. But this is, oh, where did I got this, what did I do, you all? I had something opened up. One of these things was open up, and they said that somebody was lying. Somebody was lying. It's where I got my thumbnail. Let me try to find it, you all. This is right here, BBC. BBC News got themselves in trouble in April, right here. They falsely claimed that the day after tomorrow has come true. They published an article claiming much of the science in 2004 science fiction movie The Day After Tomorrow held up remarkably well to historical analysis. And readers who are old enough to remember the movie may recall that the premise of the movie was global warming causing a sudden halt to the Gulf Stream and the North Atlantic Current, resulting in all sorts of sudden and horrifying catastrophes. Yes, the ocean currents have sped up, not slowed down, and the asserted catastrophes have not occurred. But climate science versus BBC's attempt to gaslight us into believing an absurd climate prediction have not come true. As BBC described it, the film starts well with a climate researcher, Professor Jack Hall, nearly plummeting to his doom in the Antarctic when a mile-long crack splits the ice shelf beneath his feet. Soon afterward, he explains how the North Atlantic Current works to the U.S. skeptical Vice President Kenneth Welsh, a Dick Cheney look-alike. Okay, so he explains to the dot, climate denier Vice President, global warming is melting the polar ice caps and disrupting the flow to the North Atlantic Current, and eventually it will shut down. And when that occurs, there goes our warm climate. However, the climate scientists recently published the peer-reviewed data showing the ocean currents are speeding up rather than slowing down. Now, of course, climate alarmists falsely claim global warming speeds up ocean currents, and they predicted this all along, like in the movie Gaslight. I've never heard of that movie, Gaslight. I'm going to try to get this thing off of here, because I have not heard anything about this right here article. So BBC admits the movie showed hailstones the size of tennis balls batter Tokyo. That was creepy, you all. You seen that? Tornadoes ripping through Los Angeles, ripping them to pieces. Oh, you know, some places are going to get tornadoes, you all. They are. Did you hear the weather talking about the tornadoes that were coming? They did. I saw that on the Weather Channel. Something with weather. Let's see. What was that weather? This weather's coming. You know, look at this winter storm, and hail and tornadoes. United States. Look at this. Can you see this? The winter storm will bring tornado, blizzard threats for the Midwest. And first I thought, you know, if this is winter, why would we get tornadoes in the winter? Really, you all, because this is strange. I don't want tornadoes and large hail coming in the winter. Do you all? You're having Sponge 101, you were having tornadoes all morning in Texas? Is that unusual for you all this time of year? When does the tornado season end? Does the tornado season start in September and go through like December? Because if it's normal, that's one thing. Let's see when the tornado season, I'm thinking about the hurricane season. That's what I'm thinking about, the hurricane season. In reality, it's September the 13th. Oh yeah, the shaking, shivering, and shoveling. So this is they're going to get tornadoes and blizzard conditions, and they're going to get flooding right there in that area, you all, right there in that area. Let's look at CNN's weather. Let's see what CNN's doing. So they got this right here for these people. A quick look at the snow and ice through the plains. A round of snow and rain. Flash flooding, bizarre. Oh, I thought they said bizarre conditions and tornado. Bizarre. But they said blizzard conditions and tornadoes possible for next week. A blockbuster storm looks to be taking shape in the west for this weekend into early next week, threatening flash flooding, blizzard conditions, and tornadoes. The storm will begin to impact the Pacific Northwest by Friday evening. It will spread to California through the weekend. Periods of coastal rain and heavy mountain snow are forecast for the Cascade, and the winter storm watches are in effect across the Sierra Nevada mountain range. 5 feet of snow. In some places already got 200% of the normal for early this season. Then you're going to get coastal rain could reach 6 inches in parts of northwestern California, bringing significant relief to the drought. Very heavy rainfall, and then they're going to have tornadoes, you all. Look at this. Next severe weather threat. Tornadoes in the winter time. Stating streets will flood on a sunny day in the future. Oh, you got negative 6 degrees in a winter storm, you all. See, this is wild. Where were we at? Was reading this article. Okay, BBC falsely saying that. The only people who will believe BBC's absurd attempt to vindicate the climate extremism predictions in the day after tomorrow are climate charlatans and people BBC can effectively convince are losing their mind. I don't think I'm a climate charlatan because I know our climate is unpredictable. It really is. Anything's possible. Our future is unpredictable, you all. All of that stuff is unpredictable. It really is. But this rain, this weather, all these storms that are coming, and it's not just here, it's all over the world. It really is. Hello. Lightning strikes. The lightning strikes. I looked at the lightning strikes, and they're not showing much of the lightning strikes anymore. Real-time lightning. So we can go there and we can look at it. It's loading it. I want to do a 24-hour. I want to do both. I've got the the counters on. This is the lightning strikes. You can see, wow, some weather's in the United States right there in the center. You getting a lot of weather right there, you all. What's happening there, you all? Do you know what's happening right there in the mid part of the United States? Got a lot of, looks like lightning. And that purple, is it raining or is it just cold? Oh, I know what it is. We're getting rain at 3 o'clock in the morning for where we're at. And we got 90% chance of rain. So it's going to rain all day long tomorrow, you all. Something's very blurry. Well, it's not blurry on my end. It's not at all. The Tonga eruption filled the atmosphere with water. Well, now we're going to have dirty water coming down out of the atmosphere from the Tonga. And the, what other one that exploded, that went off? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I hope you all got some extra blankets. Really, get some extra blankets and a first aid kit. And maybe a flashlight and some canned goods and a way to keep warm and a can opener. You got to have some heat too. This doesn't really, trying to look at this. Look at all of those things that pick up the sensors where the lightning's at. All those dots. I think they're sensors or something. They are. They're all sensors where lightning has been picked up. All these areas. It's a lot, you all. It really is. It's raining and thundering in Arkansas. I know, Zyla Divine, so much stuff is going on. I shared this before. Oh my goodness, a while back, and I got myself in trouble too. I did. You just slowed the traffic down on my channel even more when I showed it. Yeah, so this is a lot. 82,000 lightning strikes in this one block right here. This one block, 82,000 lightning strikes right in that area. And if you were to come over here, you can see this just has some patchy areas. Not much going on. I can't see the lightning strikes here at all. But the United States is getting it. Look at that. Didn't it look wild? Looked like fireworks going off. Fireworks. So this is, where's this winter storm? I can put the clouds in too. We can put the cloud coverage on. If we come over here, put the clouds on. Put the radar on. The rain. There we go, you all. We got a good overview of this is the lightning, this is the rain. This is what's happening. Right like this, if you can see it. All of that area. It doesn't look appealing, it doesn't. That's kind of mesmerizing itself, you all. So yeah, we got that, and we got this winter storms coming. Nationwide winter storm set to bring everything from blizzard. A large winter storm slammed into the western U.S. over the weekend, blanketing the mountain areas with heavy snow, and is now set to traverse the nation, threatening dangerous blizzard conditions and tornadoes, you all. This ain't no joke. Blinding blizzard conditions. You don't want to be out on the road when this happens. You don't. As it travels, the storm will strengthen as it travels eastward, bringing snow to the Rockies, where a foot is already expected. And the upper Midwest and north central plains will get hardest on Monday night into Tuesday as widespread heavy snow falls. Snow accumulations through Tuesday morning will be 6 to 12 inches, centered in the northern high plains. The highest snow totals are currently forecast for South Dakota and northwest Nebraska, upwards to 2 feet. Where to expect the snow delay? You all, I move that with my finger. I can move that map with my finger for some strange reason. I wonder why it let me move it. So look at that. It's winter chills as low as 20 below zero, and you could get frostbite on your skin in less than 30 minutes. Hello there, Johan, Dancing Gypsy. Anchorage schools are closed. Wow. This current snow depth in Anchorage, Alaska is 31 inches, making it the greatest since March the 27th of 2012. Look, even in Anchorage, it's very unusual. Unsafe road conditions have prevented us from returning to school. Between 12 and 24 inches of snow fell in the region Sunday and Monday morning. The officials are looking at their options, including remote learning, depending on the future snowfalls. Multi-day severe threat, you all. You all got to get prepared. While the storm brings conditions, the storm will have the potential to bring late-season tornadoes and strong thunderstorms. And they listen, the Storm Prediction Center is expecting the storms to rapidly develop tonight after dark. A level 2 of 5 risk severe weather has been issued in Oklahoma City, Norman, Oklahoma. Track the storms as they develop. All modes of severe weather is possible. All modes, you all. This sounds like weather warfare. It really does. All modes of severe weather will be possible with damaging winds, hail, and some more late fall tornadoes. Level 3 or 5 severe weather in Dallas, Fort Worth, New Orleans under level 2. You all, wow. Why did they give these a level? That's the severity of it, you all. It is. Strong tornadoes will be possible. Look at that. Mobile, Alabama, Tallahassee, level 2 and 5. Boom. December the 13th. The area has been starving for rain as the Mississippi River has seen some of the lowest lot. Well, that's good to raise the water levels on the Mississippi. That sounds great. And Memphis will get above the low water stage for the first time since mid-August. Well, this could be a good thing, you all, as long as nobody gets hurt, right? If we can bring some water to these areas and get those boats going, that would be good. That's right. It will look like Christmas. The snow. Oh, my goodness, you all. Look at this. The Sierra Nevada, the snowpack is about 225% of normal that they would be expecting this time of year. Look at that. Mountain areas of drought-parched California, thick snow. 60 inches of snow in just 48 hours. Wow. It didn't come with a lot of wind, and it stuck to everything. It's like a picture postcard. How could you get snow? 60 inches of snow? Well, that's 5 feet of snow in 48 hours, you all, in Soda Springs, California. 5 feet of snow. What's happening with my live? They cutting you all out? This will be a storm to remember, they said. Now, you all, now they have received 7.5 feet of snow since December the 1st. In just 24 hours from Saturday morning, they received more than 35 inches of snow, the 6th largest snowfall total in 24 hours that they have on record. Susan, honey, what are they doing? Let's see what they're doing. Let's come over here. Let's check out this. I'm going to let you all see it. I'm supposed to have excellent condition on my end, is what I'm supposed to have. Totally excellent condition. See that? I don't know if it's YouTube doing that. I really don't. You got oceanfront property. What if one day you do? Did it clear up any, you all? Is what I'm wondering. You're deep in pine trees. Wow, in Florida. Yeah, you all. Maybe it's your carrier who's doing it, because Google is going great. Although this is not a good topic for Gina, honey. That's right, you all. Wow. That's interesting, you all. So that's good that you all are saying that this is blurry. Is it YouTube? But how can I have an excellent condition on my end, but as it's going through on your all's end, it's not? Oh, you see a blur when anyone reads on here, like it's to be read to very much. I don't know. I don't know what's causing it, you all. That's really strange. Is it on your cell phone that you're all looking at? My cell phone is good. That's all right. That's okay, you all. We got it. This weather is really wild. They don't want you to see what message? Blackbird fly. The message that we got some wild weather coming. Because we got wild weather. And I would not wish a day after tomorrow on anyone. I do not want no global cooling. You can give me global warming. I can handle that. I like the heat. I really like it. And I would like it if the two could come to an agreement and balance each other out. Really. Come to an agreement and just have some pleasant weather all over the world. Ah, picture perfect. No sound, you all. This is strange. Yeah, that's okay, you all. I am going to go. I've been on here too long talking about this right here, making me so confused. And I don't want to see this. Do you all want to see that day after tomorrow? Because that's a loss of life. I don't want to see it. That's right. Boom. So I am going to go. I am, you all. I've said way too much. I've said more than I should have said. I did. But I want my voice to be heard, that if the two can balance each other out, that's what I would like. That's exactly right. I don't want no global cooling. I really don't. I can handle the global warming a lot better. I really could. Than I could any global cooling. That's right, you all. You're so very welcome. I am going to go, you all. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, you all. Thank you.